So I'm starting to record now. I appreciate everyone refraining from talking. All right, so for this worksheet, you're going to have to replicate Tigger in the larger grid, okay? And the goal is to have 100% perfect copy of Tigger enlarged, okay? I will show you the sample of one that I completed. All right, so every single thing that you see in this box, you will want to replicate it in the corresponding box on the larger grid, okay? So one thing that helps is, especially with areas that are highly detailed, like specifically his face, I would suggest breaking that block down into quarters. So I am going to divide this first square in quarters and do the same thing to the corresponding square on the larger grid. Okay, now I'm going to look at each line and each shape in relationship to the grid and to the box. So I see his ear grazes the top of that halfway point and almost touches the edge of that line. So I'm going to draw the ear in there, almost touching the edge of that box. I'm going to try to replicate the curvature of the ear there. And then I notice his side of his head. It has a little curve and then it bumps out. It comes straight through here and then it's flat up here and almost touching the grid there. Okay, the thicknesses of each line are also important for you to replicate, but I'm first going to begin with getting the basic structure. And I would suggest moving through the grid top to bottom, left to right for the most accurate completion of the assignment. So, okay, again, I'm looking right here. His chin comes and cuts through the grid just right of the center point, and then his neck is just inside the center point too of where the halfway point of the grid is. So I'm going to draw the neck down. It slopes down and cuts through about there on the grid. Okay, I'm going to go up there, and I'm going to just continue with the face. I'm going to I also want to divide this box. It does help, especially with the more detailed areas of like his face, especially because there's so much going on there, and it will help me see, okay, proportions, right? The nose takes up almost the entire bottom quarter of this box, just almost. Okay, so I'm going to look, it's going in here down below just a bit into that box. It's not right on the cross here, it's just up from this intersection there. And I'm going to try and replicate the size and shape now of the nose. And it's always so much bigger than people think. They're like, wow, Tigger's nose is so huge. Yes, it really is. Okay. All right. So we're looking at relationships between lines and shapes according to the grid. And we're also going to consider our negative space. So the negative space is the area around Tigger. So if you're ever struggling with getting something to look accurate, you can look at the shape around him and say like, okay, this little shape here, I notice, right? There's a shape here between his neck and his chin. You might want to try to look at if the shape matches what you see in the picture as well as what you're drawing, right? So the negative space is a good like accuracy checking tip for you. As you're doing this, if it's really tough, it can be helpful to use a viewfinder. The viewfinder is just simply some post-it notes that you put around the square you're working on, and now it isolates this square, and that way it kind of like can be used to help your brain forget about everything else and just focus on that one square. I find it's helpful for me, even though I've done stuff like this a lot, and it will take you a long time to do it accurately. This is not a game of speed. This is a slow and steady wins the race kind of activity. So just take your time with it. And so using the viewfinder is one very helpful way that you can achieve greater accuracy. Another thing that you can do for improved accuracy is you can actually flip the worksheet over, and you can start with the bottom of the worksheet. So if something is like really you're like intimidated to begin this, you're like, oh my god, this is actually way harder than I thought, struggling a little bit, instead of starting with the head, which is the most detailed portion, just flip it over and start with the foot, right? And even using a viewfinder down there too is helpful. That way you can just think of this not even like Tigger, just think of it like shapes and lines, and you say, okay, I'm just going to draw the shapes and the lines that I see according to the grid, okay? And move it over. I will caution you to make sure you're on the right box. I've had people draw stuff perfectly, accurately, and then they realize that their eyes kind of shifted and they were drawing everything completely in the wrong box. So count and make sure you're in the right box. But that's the gist of it. So you will need to complete this worksheet in order to start your pop art painting, and it will need to be completed with 100% accuracy. I know that that sounds very like extreme, but I'm just going to show you. This is a 6th grader who did this assignment last week or the week before winter break. Okay, a 6th grader. That means it can be done. Basically any age level. Is this one perfect? No, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close, okay? This one also a 6th grader did it. So you guys, I know, can do it. As 7th and 8th graders can do this. I will say one thing that always trips people up is the size of the paw, okay? These students probably had to redo the paw a few times. Most students don't get this paw right. They end up making the paw a lot smaller. His paw is actually pretty big. And, all right, so that's your assignment. When you're done with your color wheel, come get that worksheet and get started.